Well, happy Independence Day from Athens, Georgia. This evening, it's two teams desperate for a win in MLS Next Pro. It's Atlanta United 2 taking on Toronto FC 2 in the Eastern Conference. Hello, family. I'm James Hadnot on this Independence Day, this 250th birthday for America. These two teams are in need of a gift of 3 points. Both Atlanta and Toronto are winless in their last 3 matches. Toronto has lost their last 3, and both of these sides have given up a lot of goals as of late, and so they will want to have clean performances defensively and also find some goals for themselves. Now let's take a look at the starting 11 for Atlanta, the home side today. And for Jose Silva, he sends out a 4-2-3-1. Arif Kovac at the head of the snake is the man to watch. The man at the top of the goal list in MLS Next Pro. He has 12 goals on the season, coming off 2 last time out versus Crown Legacy in that 3-3 draw. So you have to look out for him, as well as the youngster Andrew Jardines and Adrian Gill. Both of them are playing in the defensive midfield, and so they will set the tempo for this match. Jardines is somebody that Jose Silva has talked very highly about as a youngster that is very creative and defensively very hard-working. And Gill, coming out of the native Spain for Jose Silva and playing in the La Masia Academy of FC Barcelona. And so those are the 3 players to watch for Atlanta. Now we take a look at the 11 for Gianni Simini, and the 2 players to watch in this 11 are at the top, Jamari Nolan and Lucas Dawson. Dawson found Nolan for the lone goal last time out versus New England, and it was the second match in the last 3 in which Toronto scored first. But as mentioned, they have fallen in their last 3 matches, and they've given up a lot of goals, at least 3 goals in their last 3 matches. 4-2 loss to CT United and a 5-0 loss to Red Bulls across the streak. And so they're coming on the road where they have just 2 wins overall this year and need of a result, and really in need of a win. We are moments away from this matchup between Atlanta and Toronto. This is the 3rd overall meeting. You think back to 23 when they first met, and that was a 0-0 draw. Also met last season. That was a win for Atlanta. And so the 5 Stripes have never lost to Toronto, and they're hoping that that stays the case this evening. Both of these sides obviously in direct connection with the World Cup. Toronto hosting multiple matches, and Atlanta will host a semifinal on July 15th, along with a round of 16 match on July 7th. Canada falling out of the competition earlier today, losing to Morocco. For the United States, it'll be a rematch of a team that they played in Atlanta when they played Belgium in the friendlies earlier this year. The United States hoping for a different result on Monday. Toronto was in the white. Atlanta is in their patented 5 stripes. There's the whistle, and we begin here on July 4th, Independence Day. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm James Hadnot, and this is MLS Next Pro. Suarez Corey quickly back to Sinanu, along with Cisse in the back. There is a lot of great things happening for Atlanta when you think of those 2 center backs. Cisse, who has won in this league. Sinanu, who was a part of Colorado last year, playing in a final. And so that is why it has been so perturbing, why both Atlanta and really Toronto have given up so many goals as of late. For Atlanta, they've conceded 10 goals over their last 3 matches. but they have gotten results still, despite giving up those goals. 2 draws along with the loss to Columbus. And that is why 3 points are a premium today for both Atlanta and Toronto. Atlanta hovering around the playoff line right now, sitting in 8th. And for Toronto, they are in 10th after being as high as 7th just a couple of weeks ago. Chica fires a long ball. Suarez Corey trying to track it down. Ignacio has got to it, launches it into the area, looking for Arif Kovac, but it's too tall for him. And it goes out for a Toronto throw. That'll be the task today for Toronto. Not only have they given up lots of goals, but now they have a big target that they have to watch out for in Arif Kovac. Kovac is on an absolute tear. He has goals in 5 of his last 6 matches. And on situations like this, he is always a target. So Adrian Gill prepares to take the corner inside of 3 minutes for Atlanta. Kovac with a big shove, and that will receive a conversation. Micah Chisholm is the man that goes down. And Kovac just trying to jockey for position, but his hands were a little high. Lucky that that was called before the whistle. Now Gill is ready. There's the whistle. And after all of that, Atlanta doesn't even have an opportunity to strike. Just too much commotion inside the area. And an opportunity wasted by the home side. Atlanta at home this season, 3 wins, 1 loss, and 2 draws. So they have a result in 5 of 6 home matches. Their only loss was to Orlando 2-0, in which they were defeated. Costabile cannot keep control. It is out off of Moises Tablante. Atlanta want to heat things up defensively. It's been a hot day throughout the United States. Chica. Sananu. And Cisse. Atlanta just taking their time around the back. Ball finds Cameron Dunbar on the touchline. Taps it forward. Chong Kui on the underlap. Draws this in. And Stefan Kapoor clears it behind for a corner. Slow to quick for Atlanta. Chong Kui needing some extra time to get to his feet. Walking a little gingerly as he makes his way inside the 18. But already another corner for Atlanta. This time they hope that the whistle does not give Toronto a free kick before they can really attack it. And hoping that they have learned their lesson. We're always going to be pushing and shoving in and around the 6-yard box. A lot of big bodies for Atlanta and the likes of Sananu, Kovac, and company. Ball's lifted high towards the back post. It's headed by Costabile of Toronto, and that'll be another corner for Atlanta. So their third corner inside of 10 minutes. Moises Tablante, the former Orlando City and FC Cincinnati man, trots over to take it. This ball zipped in tight. Cleared back to Tablante. Moises Tablante does have a little wiggle to his game, but he'll tap it back to Jardine. Sends it back post. It's Kovac. He's cleaned out by the goalkeeper. And he's pointing at himself. He feels like he was the one who was shoved down. But Arif Kovac, helped up by Adisa De Rosario, and the first real chance for Atlanta. This is kept in. Spoke too soon. Ball is out for an Atlanta throw. Problem for Atlanta recently is conceding. They conceded first to Crown Legacy last time out. Found themselves having to come from behind versus Chattanooga. Chanqui takes this on the hop, and it's sent behind for another corner. So Atlanta really coming out on the front foot, putting pressure on Toronto to start this match. And that's what Jose Silva's squad needed to do, finishing that point on conceding. They gave up 3 goals to Chattanooga, had to battle all the way back. Gave up 2 goals to Crown Legacy and had to find their way back into that match. Don't want to have to find themselves back into this match. Gill fires this in. Chica heading it back towards goal, but there was a collision inside the 6-yard box. A foul for Atlanta, and another free kick coming for Toronto as the chippiness continues. Micah Chisholm barking at Ignacio Suarez-Corey. Luca Costabile back on his feet after taking some contact inside his own 6-yard box. And I talked with Coach Silva about the goals that have been conceded and the slow starts, and he said it's just all mental for this team. They have to be ready from the jump. Tristan Blythe on the trot. Tries to slip it behind. But Shamari Nolan could not get to it. Now, Tablante. Suarez-Corey sees 2 defenders. And Bryce Bono keeps it in. Blythe behind the referee, but Dominic Chanqui steps in to earn possession for Atlanta. Good tempo to the start of this match. You can tell both teams are up for it. Both teams are winless in their last 3 matches and are in desperate need of 3 points, as they don't want to start to trickle down the Eastern Conference standings. As mentioned, Toronto is off to a really good start this year. They were scoring goals in bunches, and they looked very calm, very cool, and like they were on their way to a playoff berth. But again, it's a long season, a long summer, and Coach Gianni Samini knows that. Knows that right now the team's dealing with some injuries at the first team level, and so with this being the reserve side, having to supplement things, he knows that his side has to find a way. Not going to be easy to snap this losing streak, but they have the talent to do it, and the likes of Jamari Nolan. This ball fired behind, and Adisa De Rosario off his line to come retrieve it. Lucas Dawson, another player that is very excitable for the coaching staff and the top brass of Toronto. Just a teenager, but has the quality. And Coach Cimini says he's not surprised at what Dawson has been able to do. He shows it every day in training. This is just a down towards Cisse. There's Dawson right there. High defensive work rate to take over in possession. Into the path of Blythe. A loose touch by Tristan Blythe. And the attack fizzles out. Kovac. Big shot, but just over. Adisa De Rosario was off his line. Kovac looked up, saw it, but could not place it. Just too powerful on that shot as he dispossessed Stefan Kapoor. But that's what Kovac does as well. We talk about work rate. Don't let those 12 goals fool you. That comes from having a high motor and doing the dirty work on the defensive end. Almost picked up his 13th there. Would have been spectacular. Costabile. Smooth groove around to Blante. Sends in the cross. Nolan could not measure it and keep it down on the header. Slightly too tall for him, but he'd like to do better here. Look at this skill from Costabile. See you later. And sends in a beautiful ball, but Nolan just could not knot it down. Good pace as we near the 14th minute between Atlanta and Toronto. No score between these two sides. And although they have both given up lots of goals recently, they also have scored goals. Again, 4-4 was the final versus Chattanooga. Atlanta drawing Chattanooga, and then they scored twice in the loss to Columbus. They scored 3 times last time out. Similarly for Toronto, outside of the 5-0 drubbing that they suffered at the hands of Red Bull, they've scored twice in 2 out of their last 3 matches. And so this has the potential to be high scoring, but also the expectation that these sides will like to hunker down defensively. That is why this is the beautiful game. You never know what's going to happen. We've seen that in World Club play recently. And speaking of not knowing what's going to happen, those of us that took in that Argentina-Cape Verde match yesterday still buzzing with the effort put in by Cape Verde, but the reigning champions too much in the end, as that's offside. Last 2 champions still alive, as France has moved on to the quarterfinals, along with Morocco, the 2 teams playing in their round of 16 matches to date. Reed Fisher, the header. Cameron Dunbar, the stab. Possession now with Atlanta, but Dunbar's shot is over the crossbar. This portion of the broadcast is sponsored by Emory Healthcare. 16th minute of action, no score between Atlanta and Toronto. A couple of shots, one from Cameron Dunbar, the other from Arif Kovac, both over the goal mouth. Atlanta defensively has forced Toronto into some mistakes, but right now, the Young Reds in possession. This is Nolan. Reed Fisher. Fisher goes back to the homegrown Adisa de Rosario. One of the great goalkeepers in this league. Chisholm played for Hanover at 96, made his first team debut in May of this year. De Rosario can't pick out a teammate. Now Chong Kui always loves joining the attack. Scored last time out, the game-tying goal versus Crown Legacy. Chong Kui digs this out. Sends it across. Kovac trying to control. Now Fisher, just before that, rolls past the end line, keeps it in play. Avoids giving up a corner, but Atlanta's suffocating defense has given them an opportunity back on the ball. This is Jardines. Mentioned his high work rate, how creative he is on the ball. Sinanu, Daniel Chica, played his last 2 years with Carolina Core. Now Gill. Almost works out for Atlanta. Gill is completely cleaned out, but it's a clean challenge. So this is Blythe. 4v4. Blythe taps out. No shot just yet. Back into the path of Blythe. Bono can't keep possession, but Chica gives it right back, and that will be a foul. And so a free kick coming for Toronto, their first set piece of the occasion. And it comes inside the 20-minute mark. Lucas Dawson. Tristan Blythe. 2 in the wall for Atlanta. It is Blythe who whips it in. Doesn't beat Kovac. And snagged down. Ransom launches this the other way. Chisholm. First to it for Toronto. Costabile once again makes the man look silly. More contact, but play on is the decision. This ball finds Bono, tries to switch the point of attack. Costabile tracks it down. "20 minutes gone. No score between Atlanta and Toronto on this July 4th. Gill, nice little tap forward. Now Chong Kui racing past Fisher. And Reed Fisher does well just to throw off the pace of Dominic Chong Kui. Both of these sides had the playoffs as one of their key goals for this year. Some sides feel that they should have a winning season. Some sides feel that they should be in the conference finals or the final. But for these sides, the playoffs are a key indicator for Atlanta, a side that has been sniffing the playoffs since entering MLS Next Pro, but just haven't been able to get over the hump. Toronto, a side that was in the Eastern Conference Finals back in 2022, but has not made the playoffs since. And that is why this moment at the midpoint of the season, imperative that they pick up points. Toronto has fallen multiple spots across this losing streak. And for Atlanta, they are hanging around. Coach Silva says that this is a good spot for them, but doesn't believe their talent. As Jardines draws this in. Wins it back to Jardines again. Dunbar loading up. Now Kovac drops it off. Chong-Kui wide of the mark. It does take a deflection, so it will be a corner. Again, there's that defending that opens up an opportunity for Atlanta. Kovac, rather than slip it into Dunbar, went off his left shoulder to Chong-Kui. Dominic Chong-Kui could not finish from inside the 18. To Blante. Now to take the corner. Lofted ball. Swiped away by De Rosario. Jardines back around to Blante. Whips in across. And just wide on the shot from Chica. It was a beautiful ball, but Daniel Chica could not put it on frame. Well, after all the action, do want to finish the point on Atlanta and where they are right now on the table. Coach believes that there's more talent on this team than where they currently sit in the table. Feels like they have not shown it completely, but that's what the second half of the season is for. Now Costabile is cut down by Moises Tablante. Luca Costabile feeling like there should be more than just a free kick and that a yellow card should be shown. That will not be the case. Moises Tablante puts a beautiful ball in. A lot of curl to it, and it's Chica who just could not put it on frame. Tried to slip it into that near corner, but Adisa De Rosario had it covered. So it's a second set piece for Toronto. Dawson towards the back post, and it's Reed Fisher who could not keep it in. This portion of the broadcast is sponsored by Gallagher. '25th minute of action. No score between Atlanta and Toronto in this Eastern Conference matchup on MLS Next Pro. Thank you for watching on MLSNextPro.com and OneFootball.com. These two teams trying to snap winless streaks. Once again, Dunbar makes the run. He's not picked out, but those runs just keep Toronto honest. Atlanta does have the quality to find Cameron Dunbar over the top. Just trying to pull out defenders, try to create space for them to attack. Both of these sides, 25 goals on the season. And both of these sides, prior to the last three matches, were top 5 in least goals allowed. As Tablante, gorgeous ball. Chong Kui hits it first time, and it's headed behind for another Atlanta corner. We just mentioned the quality. That ball perfectly into the path of Chong Kui. Lets him hit it first time. Has two arriving runners in Arif Kovac and Cameron Dunbar. Reed Fisher doing his job as a center back for Toronto, just to clear it away. And now, fourth corner for Atlanta as we near 30 minutes gone. Gill, lofted ball, headed away. Jardines, Chica flips it in, and De Rosario is there to get to it. Once again, Arif Kovac was the target, and why wouldn't he be? Goals in 5 of his last 6 matches. Golden Boot holder right now in MLS Next Pro. He only needs a sliver of space. Dawson is dispossessed. Jardines. Gill. Matthew Sananu. And there's a foul. So a free kick coming for Atlanta. Gives them an opportunity to bring bodies forward. Tablante towards Chica. It's Chisholm who got to it for Toronto. And it'll be a corner for Atlanta as Chisholm does his job tracking the back post runner. So Tablante trots over to take this corner. 30th minute of action, still no score between Atlanta United and Toronto FC. Tablante fires in this ball. De Rosario, a punch down. It was loose in the 6-yard box, and eventually it's cleared by Toronto. So this was a little nervy, as it was just punched down. Could have gone anywhere. Ignacio Suarez Correa was there crashing in. And now it's time for our hydration. It's 87 degrees right now. The high today was 93.
Due to severe weather conditions.
And so we've seen the hydration breaks throughout all of the World Cup matches. They have been consistent because of the high temperatures here in the States. And for the same reason, we see a hydration break here between Atlanta and Toronto. No score between the two sides, but you have to argue that Atlanta has had the better chances, more corners. They have had more shots on target. And for Toronto, once again, finding themselves having to play the style of their opponent and not imposing their style against their opponent. But that's hard versus Atlanta. They tend to dictate things in these matches. Toronto has had the ability to suffer this season, whether it's defend for long stretches, play on the counter, find the likes of Jamari Nolan, DeMar Dixon, and other players. And so there's still a lot to learn from this match, a lot to come out of it. And we'll see if there are any adjustments made by Toronto to find themselves more on the ball, if they still continue to be comfortable off the ball and trying to defend Atlanta, because the longer that Atlanta has, not only in possession, but with the ability to whip crosses in, it's only a matter of time before they find their talisman, Arif Kovac, or the likes of Cameron Dunbar, who can really change a match. Obviously an opportunity to talk World Cup, talking with Jose Silva, the head man for Atlanta. He is of Spanish descent, a big fan of the Spanish national team. And they have a date with Portugal. If they can win that and the United States can win, then the two would meet in the round of 16 with a semi-final, in the quarterfinals with a spot in the semis on the line. It would be the second furthest the United States had ever gotten. And now, after the hydration break, it is Dominic Chankouy of Atlanta preparing for a long throw. Flicked along and guess who? Daniel Chica will claim it. This is why you do the long throw. It's Chica on target and in. Off the throw in. Atlanta strikes. So Daniel Chica scores for Atlanta, and they lead 1-0 right out of the chute, coming from the hydration break. It's Chica's second goal of the year. Again, just his first year with Atlanta. Spent the last two with Carolina Core. Played more than 3,000 minutes and made more than 40 appearances. He was a mainstay. This portion of the broadcast is sponsored by Renegade Lemonade. 35th minute. Atlanta has a lead at home. They have been fantastic at home this season. 5 results in 6 matches. Coming off a draw last time out to Crown Legacy, but the match prior, 3-0 victory over Chicago. It's a small sample size for them at home. They started 9 of their first 14 matches on the road. 500 on the road, 4 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw. But now they're playing with some energy. That's Tablante, poor ball through, given up to Toronto. De Rosario cannot pick out Costabile. And Chica, almost disastrous. But Jonathan Ransom, plenty of pace to get there before it rolled across the goal line. Sinanu picks the pocket of Bono. Now Gil. Ignacio Suarez Corey. And Moises Tablante. Once again, Atlanta has dominated possession in this first half. Toronto has not seen a lot of the ball, therefore they have not seen a lot of opportunity. Kovac. A little nutmeg through Dawson. Sean Kui trying to do it by himself as he saw three defenders. But on the counter press, ball was won back by Atlanta. It's one thing that Atlanta does well is when they lose the ball, they win it back very quickly. Very low PPDA, passes per defensive action. That is the mainstay of how they defend and why they create so many chances. Sean Kui goes back to Cisse. Now the goal scorer, Chica, loading up, and Chica well wide of the mark. So Nolan comes down, almost turns it over. Lucas Dawson keeps it in play. Nolan taps back to Dawson, but he now gives it away. Now off the giveaway, Nolan, Bono, and Bryce Bonneau is pushed down, but not enough to warrant anything more than a play on. Dunbar racing the other way. Cameron Dunbar still with it, and his shot saved. Kovac has his shot blocked. Yellow card is coming out. Take a look at this one more time. As Cameron Dunbar onto his left. And Adisa De Rosario with a very good save. And then Arif Kovac has his shot blocked away. Last-ditch defending from Toronto. Don't want to go down by 2 goals. '41st minute. Tablante sends in this ball, punched away by De Rosario. Back as far as Adrian Gill. Andrew Jardines finds Moises Tablante. Tablante drives in. Sean Kui. Dunbar set himself up for the shot. It was closed down, but a corner coming. Everything in favor of Atlanta now. More corners, more shots on target, more possession. And now they look for more goals. All the way back to Adrian Gill, trying to find Tablante does just that. In the second phase, Suarez, Corey, runners were coming in. Now set back up. Headed on. Kovac on it in the box. Tablante. And Jardines. Relentless pressure being put on by Atlanta now, as Toronto just cannot clear this ball. Fisher is there. Chonqui wins it for Atlanta. Dominic Chonqui's shot is well wide, and now there's a player down.
Caution has been issued by the referee to number 75, Reed Fisher, in the 39th minute on Toronto FC.
And medical attention being called on. So looks like it might be Matthew Sinanu, and that would be a big blow. He's the only player that has played in and started every match this year for Atlanta. So now having his right leg stretched out. Help to his feet. And will be helped off the field. So Sinanu, who played collegiately at Xavier and University of North Carolina. Coach Silva calls him a leader and an example for the younger players on the team. Now has to come off for at least a minute. And Atlanta's hoping that he will be able to continue and come back on. So Atlanta plays down a man for the time being. Atlanta 1, Toronto 0. 45th minute of action. All that remains now is this final minute and added time in the first half. Tablante shepherding this ball out with Castabile on his back. And a goal kick coming for Atlanta. Both sides trying to snap winless streaks. Mentioned the last time out for Atlanta. A draw with Crown Legacy, lost to Columbus prior to that. For Toronto, losses in 3 straight matches to CT United, New York Red Bull, and lastly to New England Revolution. The early word from the 4th official is 5 minutes of added time. Still time for either side to find another goal in this first half. Tablante finding some open space. Now Cameron Dunbar along to Chonqui. Kovac's touch was not deflected. It will be a goal kick. It's now official. The 4th official announcing a minimum of 5 minutes of added time. Fisher trying to pick out a pass, but Chonqui is there for it. And Chonqui after the spin, still in possession. Lots of skill being shown. There's the strength to add with it. Dunbar at the end line. And it's cleared behind for a corner. But as I said last match, Dominic Chonqui is growing up before our eyes, and he will surely be one of the next stars coming from this league and making his way to a first team here in MLS or elsewhere. He's had the skill, has the patience, has the strength, but as most coaches will say, for players that start here at 15, 16 and get to 18 and 19, they're getting their grown-up body, and that's when things really start to take off. 47th minute, Gil pumps in this corner. Sananu's header is right at De Rosario, but there was contact in the box as Matthew Sananu is back on the field. That's a great side for Atlanta. Chance to turn for Tristan Blythe. Good idea. Raekwon Campbell-Dennis. Early ball just in front of Jamari Nolan. First real chance that we've seen some life from Toronto in this first half. Micah Chisholm. Timothy Fortier. And the captain, Bono, along to Campbell-Dennis. Now the teenager, Lucas Dawson. Dawson on his left. Can't take the shot. Trying to dig it back out. Does earn possession back for Toronto. Bono. Campbell-Dennis. Good spell of possession here at the end of the half for Toronto as they try to scrape one across and draw level before the intermission. Dawson showing his creativity. Just could not keep possession. It is now Atlanta that cannot find a true clearance, and Toronto that continues to keep the pressure on. Work all the way back to De Rosario. And Micah Chisholm. And Luca Castabile. Centrally to Bryce Bonneau. Point of attack switch to Campbell-Dennis. But he was offside on the ball from Bryce Bonneau. And that was better from Toronto. And Coach Samini is going to want to see more of that in the second half. And they'll need it if they want to find anything from this match and avoid dropping 4 straight. Jonathan Ransom taking his time. As Atlanta trying to get to the locker room with the lead. That man on the ball right now, Daniel Chica, has the deciding goal. His second goal of the season. Chica picks out Dunbar, but our minimum of 5 minutes has come and gone. And there is the halftime whistle. So at the break, Atlanta 1, Toronto 0. Coming up in our halftime show highlights and our holiday weekend schedule. But after the break, a Pride Month story on the importance of soccer and community when we come back.
They say the world's game is played everywhere. This is how we play it here. Every weekend across North America. From Vancouver's mountain rain to the shores of Florida. From the City of Angels to the Heartland. The world's brightest stars light up our fields.
Let's go.
And our fans bring the world to life. In every language, in every city. One game, one roar. Sold out nights under lights. New soccer citadels rising from coast to coast. Every chant, every goal, another brick in a growing relief. Now, the world's biggest stage comes to our home. And when they arrive, they'll find the game's heartbeat has been here all along.
Welcome back. Halftime between Atlanta and Toronto. 5 stripes in front by a goal. June was Pride Month, and we take you to Cincinnati and superfan Mark Brockman on how he has soccer community and how they have found one another.
I'm Mark Brockman. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I'm an FC Cincinnati 2 supporter. I spend a lot of time paying attention to FC Cincinnati. The 2 team is ultimately just another outlet to get away and think about soccer for 90 minutes instead of whatever else is going on. I really enjoy the opportunity to come to the games, and the 2 team is so interesting because you can see young players and know, well, Andre Trilla debuted for this team last year at 16. Well, now he's starting for the first team, and he's one of the best ball progressors in the league. And you could have seen that last year at Scudamore. And I think that's a really cool experience. And I think there's something to be said for FCC fans who have never been to a 2 game. They don't know the highs and lows of MLS Next Pro. And there's nothing really like it to be around families and people, and you can hear everything on the field. And sometimes somebody's just going to rip a long shot, and it's going to go in, and the crowd's going to go wild, and you'll never see a replay. And you were there. You know, struggling with mental health and depression, it's really like a numbness and an apathy that gets to you. And for me, at least, it's what kind of ate away. I just didn't feel anything about anything. And FCC really provided me an outlet to feel again. And it was highs and lows and excitement and anger. And one of the first games I went to, we had a player allegedly bite somebody, and GB did not bite anybody. But, you know, it's controversy and it's emotion, and it's getting back to feeling things, not just being numb to the world. I think Pride Month is about community, and it's really important for me growing up. I didn't necessarily always see representation out in front of me. So growing up, I didn't know. I knew I was different, but I didn't know if it was okay. And I think Pride Month gives you a really good opportunity to get out there and be loud and proud. And it gives the younger generation an opportunity to see people living their lives as gay people or queer people. I think if there was something I was going to tell a kid or myself when I was in the closet younger, it's probably the most important thing in your life is going to be loving yourself. And if you love you, you're going to find people who will love you too. I mean, people told me it gets better and be yourself as a kid, and it always kind of sounds dumb and banal and cliche, but there really is something to be your authentic self, and you're gonna do what you're passionate about and engage in your hobbies and things you're passionate about, and you will find a community that you enjoy and that loves you for who you are. Ultimately, being yourself is going to be more rewarding than being anybody else wants you to be. and just don't be afraid, because ultimately none of it matters.
My name is Nathaniel James. You can call me Natty James. I'm a striker / winger from Trinidad and Tobago. I grew up in a place called La Hokata Rima. I grew up in the east side of the island. I started in a club nearby named FC Santa Rosa, and that's where I started playing football. My father, he saw that I had like my shoes were always dirty after school and stuff, and when I came home one day, I was like, I want to start to play football, and he was like, you want to start to play football? So my father was actually the one who started like carrying me out on the field, started passing, kicking, running, teaching me running techniques, everything. Then he got me into football because he used to play as well. After that, I just started playing, and I've been playing ever since. I was in Jablote, and I was playing youth football there. So at that time, I got selected for the under-15 national team. At the time, I was just so happy just to play and just to be around this environment, and I was just so excited for my future and what I could do, and yeah, it's been going good so far. I remember actually getting called to train when I was 15 as well. So I was training with the national team since I was like 15, and then I made my professional debut when I was 18, and then I made my competitive debut when I was 19. It was against Jamaica in Jamaica. I came on, played like 15 minutes. I was so nervous. It was good though, it was good. I came on, had some nice touches, played really well, played as a striker, and yeah, I enjoyed it. And my first competitive debut, I actually scored in it. So I came on for like 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes of the game, and scored the winning goal, and it was in a CONCACAF Nations League game. Yeah, it was one of the best feelings I've had in my life. When I was younger, I used to take a lot from different players. I think Messi and then Neymar were the two players that I would always look up to, like just watching football, because I was supported Barcelona when I was younger. And when I was like 15, like I started playing as like a cam, like a number 10. So I started watching like Dybala, and I wanted to be just like Dybala. I wanted to play like him, same left foot, same. I just wanted to move and play like him. So I think Dybala, I already did my research, see what it was all about, Texas or whatever. And then I had a meeting with Coach John. He gave me a call. It was like everything I ever wanted. He just told me about everything. He was like talking about the new stadium, Mansfield, showing me how good it's gonna be, the environment, and I just fell in love immediately. And I knew that I wanted to be here. I wanted to like put my best foot forward for this opportunity, and I've been trying my best. I've been giving my best every day, so I just want to continue that. From the first day I came here, I was like, I just want to play well, play good. I want to score, I want to assist, I want to help the team in any way possible, So as of right now, my goal is just to help the team make playoffs and see how good we can do this season, see how far we can go, and I think we have a really good shot.
So my name is Edouard Nice. I'm from Belgium. I'm 21 years old, playing offensive midfielder for North Texas SC. Started playing for my hometown, Royal Sport. There's not a lot of people in my hometown. It's not really like a sport town or anything like that. It's just like a village, like a small village club. I played there for like 5 years. Yeah, that's where I started playing soccer. Coming from semi-pro back home, never won any trophy, never did anything, and then going to Northeast and just talking with the coach before joining them. He was talking about trophy, winning a national championship, and that's what I wanted. That's why I joined them. And the first year we lost in the semi-final, and we came up close, losing 0 games, losing 1 game, and it was the game in the semi-final. And then the year we came back, we won it all. So first big trophy for the college as well, first national championship, and it meant a lot to me. Yeah.
FC Dallas selects number 306 Edouard Nice from the University of Illinois.
No, it was crazy. I mean, I was sitting with my whole family on the couch in my house, and even my best friend from back home, and I just wanted to hear my name. Thought that was the moment for me, and it happened. So I was really happy. And one of my goals coming to America as well was getting drafted, as well as going Division 1, and just that happening was like surreal. I couldn't believe it in a sense, because going from hometown club, village, playing 6 years there, then playing semi-professional, you don't expect yourself 3 years later to get called in the MLS Super Draft and signing professional for FC Dallas. For this season, I would say, yeah, I want to be obviously the MVP of the league. That would be a good goal of mine. I mean everything possible, you know, like winning the Golden Boot, everything. Like, but at the end of the day, I just want to win a trophy with North Texas. I know they won one in 2024, and I want to win one again. You know, I want to give my teammates the best like effort from me on the field, and just like they can look up to me and be like, yeah, this guy is like trying his hardest, and we want to work for him at the same time, and just help the team winning trophies.
Lost on the field. No. Grab it. It's for you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna play defense. And then... Best ones on the field.
Here is the upcoming schedule. New England Revolution and Philadelphia Union. That's going to be a fun one on tomorrow. And for Tacoma Defiance and Timbers 2, that is going to be a Cascadia robbery. Now let's take a look at the highlights from the first half. Obviously Atlanta with the 1-0 lead on top of Toronto. Cameron Dunbar drops this off to Reeve Kovac. And for Dominic Chonqui, looking to score goals in back-to-back matches, but his shot was wide of the mark. Moses Sablante with a beautiful ball whipped in behind. Daniel Chica could not score it there, but on this long throw, Daniel Chica could score it here. Chica with his second goal of the year, and he gave Atlanta the lead. A little bit later, Cameron Dunbar found himself with some space to shoot. Adisa De Rosario with a good save. Reeve Kovac had his shot blocked away. And that is how the half went to an end. Now we're going to take a break and be back for the second half between Atlanta and...
Boys hear sentiment, flow tastes sweet like cinnamon. Open up doors, I'm a gentleman. View top floor, I'm still sticking ahead of them. Running on fumes and adrenaline. Do what I do best, can't rush in like a roulette. You can't name a better duet. Don't ask questions, trying to figure out what sound. Don't worry about what next, just wanna know what's next. Man, I say it so loud, don't worry about what next. Just know we got now, oh yes. Man, I say it oh so proud. Don't worry about what next, just know we got now.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
Welcome back to Athens, Georgia on this July 4th, Independence Day, the 250th birthday for the United States. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is James Hadnot. Atlanta currently in front of Toronto 1-0 after 45 minutes of play. Atlanta leading in possession as well as shots on target and shots overall. Toronto did find something later in the half, and they'll try to bottle that up and bring it into this second half. We'll see what adjustments Coach Gianni Semini makes here for half number 2. Atlanta will be in their patented 5-stripe uniforms and their black shorts, and Toronto will be in the white. We talked a little bit about the World Cup. Atlanta hosts multiple matches. The first match, the shocker, Spain versus Cape Verde, and that became the precedent for opponents for Cape Verde. They drew Uruguay, they drew Spain 0-0, and they took Argentina, the reigning World Cup champions, to the brink on yesterday. And they had a fantastic tournament despite not moving on to the round of 16. And so Canada themselves had their tournament cut short as they fell to Morocco today. As Morocco will take on France in a rematch of the semifinal from the 2022 World Cup in the quarterfinal round this year. United States will play Belgium on Monday, and a fun one to watch on tomorrow. Mexico will take on England for a spot in the quarterfinals. Now it's time for the second half between Atlanta and Toronto here in the Eastern Conference and MLS Next Pro. James Hadnot here with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Atlanta leads 1-0. Daniel Chica, the goal scorer for Atlanta. Interesting to see how aggressive Toronto is going to be defensively. They're down by just the 1 goal. They've had their best opportunities on the counter today. And so Atlanta has to be careful that they do not shut off and have a mental mistake. That's what Coach Silva has said this team has done. And the goals that they've conceded recently, it's a high number. 10 goals given up over the last 3 matches. And for Toronto, their goal conceding has reared its ugly head again, giving up the first goal today. Arif Kovac offside. For Toronto, at one point in time, one of the better teams in regards to goals given up. Coming into today, they've given up 12 goals in their last 3 matches, and they are 3rd worst in the Eastern Conference in regards to goals allowed. Only Inter Miami and Huntsville have given up more goals. Now they can't afford to give up any more. Down by a goal to Atlanta as we're in the early moments of the second half. Suarez Corey trying to tap that away from Micah Chisholm. Now it is Cedar Rosario in the back with Stephon Kapoor. Chisholm provides himself as an option. Jamari Nolan, the striker, comes in to help out the build out, and Raekwon Campbell-Dennis has to race all the way back to get to this. Dawson, Timothy Fortier. It's a little trouble for Toronto, but they've been calm on the ball, and that foul will help relieve the pressure. Atlanta keeping Toronto under their thumb over these first couple of minutes of the second half. Now a chance to break out for the young Reds. Costabile taps this forward. Real chance growing now for Toronto. Initial cross is blocked away. Costabile gets his leg around it. But a save made by Jonathan Ransom. So Toronto has bottled up that ending from half number 1 and brought it right to half number 2. Tapped over the top. Bonneau shoved down. Clean challenge from Adrian Gill. But the ball lost. Campbell Dennis battling with Dominic Chonqui. And that is a foul as Campbell Dennis chops down Dominic Chonqui. So he'll receive a stern talking to from our referee. Long ball, Chonqui, good first touch. Dunbar can't keep control. Now 48. Just past Dawson. Ball won back by Atlanta. Five minutes gone through this second half. Toronto come out with a little pep in their step, a little juice. Atlanta hoping that that juice fizzles out. And the best way to do that is this right here. Keep possession. Whatever momentum Toronto was bringing out of the locker room, they want to stifle it right now and find a second goal. Atlanta has been the hunter over their last couple of matches. And they're hoping to be the hunted here at home this evening. Mohamed Cisse. Tablante. Nice touches by Costabile. Check that was Tristan Blythe who was controlling the action. This is Luca Costabile. Spent 4 years playing at the University of Maryland. 74 appearances and 4 goals for him. And this long ball trickles out for an Atlanta throw. Fisher controlling amongst a lot of pressure. Dawson does very well to keep it for Toronto. He continues his run, doesn't receive possession. As Raekwon Campbell-Dennis puts his hand out as to say, we have to calm down. We have to keep the ball. We can't give it away. Blythe. Chisholm. And now this ball's dumped in. Cisse's long header. Fisher nods it down. Raekwon Campbell-Dennis goes down, and then this is dispossessed. Fisher can't win it, and that should be last off of Cisse. So neither side at the moment able to grab hold of possession. And this might benefit Toronto if they can make the game a little more murky. Maybe they can squeak one across and force Atlanta into a mistake. That foul is given. As Micah Chisholm returns to his feet. Ignacio Suarez-Correa turned 17 earlier this year, back in April. A member of the academy. Good ball. And this starts the attack for Toronto. Blythe behind Costabile, and that attack just can't continue. This portion of the broadcast is sponsored by Emory Healthcare. Last time these two teams met, it was a 3-1 victory for Atlanta. Patrick Weah, Ryan Carmichael, and Rodrigo Neri all scoring. They won 3-1 last year. They won 2-1 in 2024. With Caden Moore and Rodrigo Neri scoring in that match. Caden Moore has gone on to play for Philadelphia now. He's on loan with the Union. Atlanta has never lost to Toronto in MLS Next Pro play. Toronto have been a member of the league since 2022. Atlanta coming in 2023. And Atlanta still looking for their first ever appearance in the playoffs. Toronto themselves have a 3-year drought, as the last time they were in the playoffs was 2022. That's why this match at the middle part of the season is so important. Chonqui controls. Dominic Chonqui doing well to keep possession. Now Mohamed Cisse. Andrew Jardines into the goal scorer, Daniel Chica. 57th minute of action. Atlanta in front by a goal. Raekwon Campbell-Dennis has his arm away from his body. That's a handball and a free kick for Atlanta. And these are troublesome times for Toronto because of all of the height that Atlanta has for these set pieces. I have not heard very much from Arif Kovac today, the Golden Boot leader. 12 goals on the season, but he is a target, especially in these moments. Daniel Chica scored on a quasi-set piece, a long throw in the first half. And you also have Matthew Sinanu and Mohamed Cisse all as options. 58th minute, Adrian Gill prepares to take the free kick. Lofted in. Bouncing around, and Kovac a little back heel. No power behind it as De Rosario was privy of the danger. Now Tristan Blythe in Toronto. Blythe sees two, sends it in between them to Jamari Nolan. Nolan notches a long ball to Raekwon Campbell-Dennis. Raekwon Campbell-Dennis waiting for reinforcements, and now Toronto brings numbers into the attack. Benoit, Campbell-Dennis. He's closed down, and Sean Quee lets out a yelp as that ball was last off of Raekwon Campbell-Dennis. When I asked Coach Cimini about the goals that they have given up over the last 3 matches and these 3 losses, he diagnosed all of them differently. Obviously, the numbers not in favor of Toronto, but they gave up 2 penalties versus CT United. That match was a little different. It was a 2-goal game going to the 80th minute versus Red Bull before they scored 3 goals in 5 minutes. It made that scoreline a little more gaudy. And then they scored first versus New England, but just could not keep hold of the lead. And so there have been some positives despite these 3 losses for Toronto. They were hoping to come in today and to find something in this match on the road. And there's still time as we sit in the 60th minute, but they will need more possession, something they have not had very much of throughout these first 59 minutes and change. Also, regardless of what they want to do, they have an opponent, and Atlanta is not going to make it easy. Jonathan Ransom, the goalkeeper, 2025 MLS Next All-Star. Interested to see how Atlanta manages this lead. They're always aggressive, would love to add to it. Tablante on it. Advantage is played. Cameron Dunbar in lots of space. Can't connect with Sean Quee. Daniel Chico wins it back for Atlanta. So De Rosario's ball, a good one, into Campbell-Dennis. First touch a little loose. This will be a goal kick, it seems. But Dominic Sean Quee made contact with Raekwon Campbell-Dennis. So Jamari Nolan is coming over to argue the case for his teammate. And actually it's given as a free kick. And so a set piece for Toronto, 63rd minute of action. Lucas Dawson had an assist last match. Tristan Blythe by himself on the edge of the 18. Just 2 men in the wall. Odd angle. Ransom has to be ready. It is floated in, flicked along, and Reed Fisher can't believe he didn't put that on frame. So Atlanta preparing to make a couple of substitutions. Aiden Torres is going to come on for Andrew Jardines. Torres, the homegrown. He's been playing with the first team since he was a teenager. And Cameron Dunbar will come off. Enzo Davilo will come on. So Davilo scored 2 matches ago at home versus Chicago. He played his collegiate soccer at UNC Greensboro. And Aiden Torres, the career leader in appearances for the second team, with more than 50 on the ball right now, just came on as a substitute. Atlanta leads 1-0. Taking on Toronto, a team that is desperate for a win. They've lost their last 3. They've given up 12 goals over the course of their last 3 matches, and that's not going to help their cause, because that's a yellow card that's going to Luca Costabile. And so Moises de Blante is the one that took the worst of that. Toronto themselves are going to make a couple of substitutions. As Daquan Barrow will come on. Micah Chisholm will come off. And Kervon Kerr will come on. So Kerr, another attacking option, younger brother of DeAndre Kerr. So Chisholm, a defending player, Kerr, an attacking player, and Reed Fisher coming off as Daquan Barrow comes on. This portion of the broadcast is sponsored by Gallagher. The clock turns to the 67th minute. Atlanta led since the first half. Daniel Chica gave them the go-ahead goal. Adisa De Rosario brings this into his own 18. So this will shift things for Toronto as they take off a defender, bring on an attacking player in Kervon Kerr. They now have 2 up front. Lucas Dawson now dipping into the midfield a little bit. And with Reed Fisher going off and Daquan Barrow coming on, that is another attack-minded defender. But now this ball is won. That is a yellow card offense for sure from Bryce Bonneau as he lost the ball. A professional foul there by Bonneau, because if Aiden Torres gets around him, then it's an odd man situation, and Atlanta has a chance to score a second goal. So for Bonneau, spent last year with Huntsville, now with Toronto. He, along with his teammates, must defend this free kick. Long distance away, but DeBlante is going to want to put this in between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot and let somebody run on it. Goes to the back post. Cisse heads it down. And Disa De Rosario scoops it up. Now Beno. Blythe. That's off of Toronto.
United 2 made 2 substitutions in the 63rd minute. Exiting the match, number 78, Andrew Jardines, and entering the match, number 23, Aiden Torres. In the second substitution, leaving the match, number 70, Cameron Dunbar, and number 67, entering the match, Enzo Bilbo.
So a little more aggressive pressing coming from Toronto right now as time dwindling away. Still plenty of time in this match as we near the 70th minute. Dominic Chonqui barking at Raekwon Campbell-Dennis, and now Campbell-Dennis will receive a yellow card.
Toronto FC2 also made 2 substitutions in the 65th minute. Exiting the match,
So a couple of players on yellows now. Campbell-Dennis, Bryce Beno, Luca Costabile.
And exiting the match, number 73, Micah Chisholm.
Here in the 70th minute, both sides will take a much-needed hydration break.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Due to the high temperature at today's match, the referee has indicated a safety
Atlanta in
and
front by a
hydration
goal.
break.
Daniel Chica
The
scoring
break
it
will last up to 3 minutes.
right now.
Thank you.
Atlanta trying to move up in the Eastern Conference table. But they win today. They would move into 7th. Came in today in 8th. And they would be 2 behind Chattanooga. This Eastern Conference is absolutely stacked. It's very tight. Once you get to 5th place through 11th, teams from 5th to 11th differing in points by 8. And CT United, they're sitting on 19 points themselves, trying to get back into the playoff picture. And so for Toronto, as mentioned, they were sitting in 7th just a couple of weeks ago. With these losses, have dropped out of playoff contention and are in danger of putting themselves in a deeper hole. Right now, Atlanta, just 16 matches played, including today. And so they have a game in hand, along with multiple teams in the Eastern Conference. And that is why, from the onset, we said that 3 points today would be huge for whichever side could capture them. Right now, it is Atlanta that has taken the bull by the horns, but we still have plenty of time for things to change. The team's returning to the field of play. I asked Coach Silva about the midseason report card. He said he's happy where the team's at, but knows they could be higher up. Our Coach Cimini was honest about the frustrations of this losing streak, but also knows that it's a part of development. And he talked with his group about how are you going to take advantage of this adversity. There's going to be a time, if you progress in your career, where you might be in a dressing room and you might be on the wrong end of a couple of losses. How do you respond? We'll see how Toronto responds in this match. The hydration break has come to a close, and now we are ready to race to the finish line. Atlanta and Toronto battling right now in the Eastern Conference. And Atlanta United in front by a goal, thanks to Daniel Chica in the first half. Blythe cannot work around Adrian Gill. Then it's last off of Blythe. So a throw-in coming for Atlanta. And Torres into Kovac. He could not control it, but Torres gonna win this back, but too aggressive, says the referee. Stefan Kapoor quickly gets the ball rolling for Toronto. Atlanta happy to be in front, but with all the possession, will feel like they should have a goal more. Daniel Chica had a chance at the back post earlier in this match. Cameron Dunbar had a shot saved. Arif Kovac had a shot blocked. Adrian Gill into Ignacio Suarez-Corey. As he circles around, sends it back to Daniel Chica. Matthew Sananu and Mohamed Cisse had that header moments ago while he was at the back post on the set piece. That could have added to the scoreline. Now this ball's turned over, and here comes the Jamaican Youth International, Jamari Nolan. Nolan held up by Sananu. Now Dawson can't thread the needle. Had eyes for Kervon Kerr. Enzo Davilo racing. Davilo shoved off by Barrow, and Daquan Barrow does a job defending. Back and forth we go now as we venture towards the final quarter of an hour. Costabile sees two, and that's out for a Toronto throw. This portion of the broadcast is sponsored by Adidas. So there's a foul as we arrive at 75 minutes played. Atlanta in front 1-0 on top of Toronto. Daniel Chica's goal, the difference. Only takes one goal for Toronto to get right back into this match. This is Blythe. Costabile flips this in, nobody there. Dawson trying to control because the clearance wasn't clean by Cisse. You almost wonder if he could have let that run to his goalkeeper, but didn't know who was behind him. So Cisse, no nonsense. Almost turned into an opportunity for Toronto. Young Reds trying to snap a 3-match losing streak. Their last win on the road was May 16th. Campbell Dennis got the angle on Dominic Chanquis. Campbell Dennis stays on his feet, cannot pull this back. That's the first time today that Raekwon Campbell Dennis got the best of Dominic Chanquis, and it earns Toronto a corner. So it is Lucas Dawson. Prepares to take this corner. Headed away by Daniel Chica. Jamari Nolan tracks it down. Pumps it back into the box. Nodded along. Big time save! Oh! Jonathan Ransom would not allow that ball to cross the line. A humongous save from Ransom. How does he keep that out? Toronto still with possession. But I can't wait to get a look at that one again. This is Dawson. Benoit goes back to Barrow. Now Now Tristan Blythe. Luca Costabile. Nice ball to Blythe. His shot rising and over the crossbar. But Jonathan Ransom with a gorgeous save. Take a look at this again as it's headed down by Barrow. 2 saves, really. The initial ball, and then the shot was saved as well. If Atlanta is able to leave with all 3 points, Ransom will have his hand in it in a big way. So now Theo Rigopoulos comes on as Lucas Dawson comes off. Cheyenne Pinnock comes on as Shamari Nolan leaves. Rigopoulos now to the substitute Barrow, who almost equalized moments ago. From Toronto.
Atlanta United 2 substitution in the 78th minute. Number 56.
So Tristan Blythe will come off. He has played well today, put in a good shift. But now Elias Kodri comes on. Played a year at New Hampshire. Also played at Gardner-Webb and Northeastern Junior College back in 2022 and 2023.
Exiting the game, number
He's been with Toronto since 2024.
Entering the game, number 63, Cheyenne Pinnock.
And he's had a hand in the last 2 matches. This ball's taken away. Ransom will scoop this up. Now Atlanta in possession with Tablante gliding forward. Pulled back, but did not find a target.
Toronto FC2 had another substitution in the 80th minute.
83rd minute. Barrow has to get to this before it gets past the end line. Pinnock. Now Costabile. Cheyenne Pinnock, the substitute, switches to point of attack. Rigopoulos sends in a cross, but it's seen the entire way. Still anyone's match right now. Atlanta has hold of it, rather. But Toronto could find an equalizer. There's plenty of time. But that time is starting to run out. Atlanta has the lead, but only just. Jonathan Ransom with a humongous double save, really, to keep his team in front. '85th minute. Long throw. Kovac trying to use that frame to keep possession. Goes back to De Rosario. Now Theo Rigopoulos, the Canadian Youth International at the U20 level. 43 appearances. 2 assists for TF2 over his career. Long header away from Chong Kui. Trying to distribute the danger. Barrow. .48. Now Bonneau. Costabile has been inventive in this match. Now Campbell Dennis. Ball slipped through, and Ransom will chest this down before scooping. Atlanta has managed this match well up to this point. They needed a big save from Ransom, but other than that big moment, Toronto has really not had another moment in this match, which shows you just defensively what Atlanta has been able to do. Now can they preserve this lead for the next 4 minutes plus added time? We should have a small amount of added time due to the hydration break. Now Cheyenne Pinnock for Toronto. Slithering in possession. Luca Costabile drops this off. Kodri, 48. Now Bonneau off the 1-2, nothing there. Toronto back on the ball as we move towards the 88th minute. Kodri trying to control. Tablante goes down. That's a foul. And a free kick coming. Atlanta preparing a couple of substitutions. Liam Butts will come on for Reeve Kovac. Butts, the Atlanta native. Top goal scorer last year for New England. And also coming on is Jan Ettinger. He comes on for Moises Tablante. So Ransom sends this away. Ball will take a bounce right to Elias Kodri. Pinnock cutting inside. Sean Kui trying his best, and he does throw him off a bit, but Sean Pinnock back on the ball. Cannot thread the needle as he looked for Kevon Kirk, and then Sean Pinnock commits the foul. Atlanta taking its time, not in any rush, with the lead as we march towards the 90th minute. This is the type of match that both of these teams wanted to play. Wanted it to be low scoring after scoring so many goals, but also conceding so many goals over the last 3 matches. All that's left for Toronto is, can they find an equalizer? And for Atlanta, can they see this match out? 3 points on the line for two teams hovering around the playoff line in the midpoint of the season. De Rosario dumps this ball out. Rogopoulos can't keep it in play for Toronto.
Atlanta United 2 substitutions made in the 87th minute. Exiting the match, number 39, Arif Kovac. Entering the match, number 38, Liam Butts. And also exiting the match, number 80, Moises
Atlanta
Cavante.
scored on a long throw in the first half. That's the lone goal of the match. This time Dominic Chankwi goes back to his center back. And now Daniel Chica ushers it along. Throw comes into Liam Butts. Double-digit goal scorer last year for New England. Aiden Torres clears this behind, and it will be a throw as the fourth official announces a minimum of 5 minutes of added time. That's all that's left in this match. The throw-in must come from a little bit deeper in the defensive half for Toronto.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 5 minutes added to the time in the second half.
It's an Atlanta throw. Despite Beno picking the ball up quickly and trying to get it back in play. Now Toronto has its chance. The throw in picked up by Torres but lost by the homegrown. Now Kodri is shielded off by Daniel Chica, and it's cleared away. Another throw coming for Toronto. And again, the throw must come from deeper. Toronto keeps possession as we played 1 minute of our minimum of 5. The Young Reds in need of a goal to gain something from this match. Nothing there. Too heavy, as Liam Butts was the target. De Rosario too heavy on his touch. Yes, he just needed to play that towards Taquan Barrow. Third minute of our minimum of 5. Ransom lets it rip. Has eyes for Chong Kui and finds him. The two homegrowns, Torres and Chong Kui, can't keep possession. Gill keeps it though for Atlanta. Excellent skill there. But it's last off of Atlanta. 2.5 minutes remain. Atlanta in front by a goal. And Jonathan Ransom will let this run out of play for a goal kick. This would snap 3 straight matches in which Atlanta could not get a win. Chattanooga, as well as Columbus. And last time out versus Crown Legacy. This would be a huge 3 points for Atlanta. And this match would, however, provide more questions than answers for Toronto as Davilo trying to complete the nutbag, but it was good from Rigopoulos in the end. So De Rosario sends everyone forward, fires it away. First ball won by Atlanta. Liam Butch tries to control the second ball, and then it's dug out by Costabile. Moving towards our final minute of our minimum of 5. Now to throw in. Costabile will get to his feet before Raekwon Dennis fires this ball in. Ends up going behind to Stephon Kapoor. Adisa De Rosario, the goalkeeper, well off his line. And that is a foul on Atlanta. So Kapoor is there. The yellow card is shown to Noah Santillan. Or Santillan. And Stephon Kapoor holding at his back. Canadian Youth International, 5 caps. Signed his homegrown deal in October. And that bright orange jersey is Adisa De Rosario, the goalkeeper. He's coming up for this free kick, which might be the final kick of the match. The yellow card shown to the Toronto bench. They haven't been pleased with how this final couple of minutes has been officiated. But right now it's Bryce Bonneau preparing to put the ball into the box, cause some havoc, and hopefully scrape across a goal. Ball sent in, flicked along, will bounce out. And it will be a corner. And so we played our minimum of 5. We're inching towards 6 minutes of added time played and into our 7th minute of added time. Adisa De Rosario is still up, the goalkeeper for Toronto, as the Young Reds need a goal. It's Bryce Bonneau again to take the corner. Outswinger, headed by Toronto, out of play. And there is the final whistle. Atlanta victorious at home. They take down Toronto. The final, Atlanta United 1, Toronto FC 0. Number 44 right there in black and red is your man of the match. Daniel Chica is today's man of the match, presented by Adidas. His goal off this long throw-in, the difference in the match. It was flicked along by Matthew Sananu, and Daniel Chica headed it on frame and in. And Atlanta is victorious at home. The final, once again, 1-0. Daniel Chica, your man of the match. Well, now it's time to say goodbye on this Independence Day as Atlanta gets the job done at home. The final, Atlanta 1, Toronto 0. You can watch MLS Next Pro all season long on onefootball.com and MLSNextPro.com with my fantastic crew. My name is James Hadnot saying so long from the Peach State, and have a blessed evening.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.